Okay, welcome back. Now is where I'm going to probably install the front tire. This is where I said I don't have all the parts. Well, I don't have the brake shoes. I'm not going to install the brake shoes yet. And the brake shoes fit in the back here. And it is, I've got the race in there as well. So, but here is, I guess I want to step back, and I mentioned in my comments that I'm using a book by Steve Slocum, and I'm going to show you the book. I've listed it in the comments, and it is, let me get the front page. It is called Harley-Davidson 1930 and 1936 Big Twins, Buying, Restoring, and Riding a VL by Steve Slocum. And I don't know how I could build this bike without this book. And it's very, like I said, it probably gets you 90% of the way there, and which is good. And it has basically detailed breakdowns. So here is a page called Wheel Hub Assembly. And you're going to notice that this looks really familiar because this is what I used to build the wheel hub. And I did a video where I basically had everything laid out. And he has it all laid out with all the part numbers. And so it's really kind of easy to do at least 90%, 95% of the build with the correct part numbers from this bike. So I mentioned that we're going to do the front brake, and here is his breakdown for the front brake. He calls this a front brake hub assembly. So he has the part numbers here. He has everything that I need in order. And I'm going to kind of show you where everything is at. So let me get this. So we're going to start on the right hand side. So we're going to start over here. There is a felt washer and a felt washer retainer, and the felt washer is going to go around here. I don't have it, and I don't have the retaining cover, but here is where it's nice that you're given the part numbers. I've actually placed an order with Harbor Vintage, and so this is 39830, and 39830 is it's a felt washer. So I am going to I'm going to try to read it. Here it is right here. So right here, 3983 is a felt washer, and it is $9. So I don't have these two, so I've ordered those. Here is the axle. I have the axle installed, and inside there's another felt washer, a spacer, two bearings, and a spacer in between. I actually have those inside already. And let me take this apart. So the next is this piece, which is, it's this piece right here. So it's already installed on it and it's riveted on. Next is a snap ring. The snap ring, you have to take my word for it, it's on there. The next we're going to go to is a, I don't know what you would call it, but it is, it's basically a spacer. So I have the spacer that I'm going to put on. On top of the spacer is a felt washer. I'm going to put the felt washer on it. And 4199, the next part, which is right here, 4199-30, is another felt. So 4199-30, wheel bearing felt, that's $11. So I've ordered that one as well. And what it is I've ordered this through Harbor Vintage. Joe Church at Harbor Vintage. If you have any issues, you just call him up and he will really help you out. So I'm going to install that when I get it. The next is the covering, which is 420-30. I'm going to put the covering on. I've actually greased everything up. 4115-30. It's ordered. I don't have it. 4109-30 is a thrust washer. I don't have it. I've ordered it. So that is where I'm at right here. I basically need a felt washer and a thrust washer, but I'm going to install this right here. So once I get those, I'm just going to pop them in. But the next is, I hate to say it. I actually think the thrust washer actually just goes right in here. Next goes in a spring, which is part 4190-30. Next goes a basically a spacer washer. And then finally, there is a nut that goes over top. And it's not the easiest to put on. There we go. And okay, so I have it installed. I need to install the shoes and the felt washers. But from this book that I've received, that I bought from Steve Slocum, I mean, I'm given the entire breakdown of all the parts that are needed. So you really kind of need this book. It is, so the next step is I would install this on the bike. And so I'm going to install this actually on the wheel. I have the front rear, I have the front axle. So it is, I have the shaft, I have the spacer. Spacer, this goes in the wheel. So the spacer is going to go on the other side of the wheel. And obviously this goes through the rocker arm first, but I want to install the wheel so that I can actually kind of secure the bike and just start building on it. But so it is standby. I am going to, let me say one more thing. I've been using Steve Slocum's book, which is fantastic, but there is another book that I use, which is The Complete Dealer's Guide. It's the complete dealer's catalog for spare parts for 1935. It does not give exploded diagrams, but what it does, it shows you what the parts look like. And so it's interesting. Well, here's one interesting part. There is a breather pocket cover right here, which I knew I needed it. I didn't know what it looked like. I came to this book. I generally have a picture of what it should look like. So that is 548-30. When I go to 548-30, it is a relief pipe for vehicles, for bikes from 1930 to 1933 for the 74-inch twins. And that's what I have. So it is, I know I need that part because this is a 31 actually. So so let's put the wheel on so we can actually secure this. So stand by. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to install this on the side. It fits in nicely. Next, the axle needs to go on. Okay. Okay, so it's not fitting. Stand by. Let me see what's going on. Okay, I got it on. I don't think it's right. And I think I have a wrong part. And it is, so the front axle came with a spacer. I don't have a good picture of that spacer. I've got to research it. I think that spacer is way too big. And when I go on the other side, I don't have enough space. There should be another, there's a small nut that goes on there. And it is, it's not right. And it's definitely not right. And because there needs to be another nut here. That spacer has to be wrong. It is, because it was really hard to get in actually too. So I'm going to research that. But where we are right now is I've got the front tire on. I need to figure out what that spacer is. And here's where the book is lacking in a little bit. It does not have a diagram of the here it has a picture of the real axle assembly, but obviously this is the front. It does show a spacer here, 3539, and this colony doesn't list the spacer. So here is on the other side, there is a cotter pin. I'm not going to put that on until the end, but there's another nut that should be on there. So the this spacer that I have on there looks really like the spacer for the rear tire, and it's not right. I got to figure it out. The spacer is way too big. That spacer is like 1.25 inches, which it's actually probably more than 1 inch. Well, it's like 1.25 inches, and it's just way too much. And but here's the nice thing. This is the nice part, because I'm going to go part by part just to make sure everything fits. And if it doesn't fit easily, then it's probably not the right part, or I'm not doing it right. It's almost like putting on the front forks, and it went on incredibly easy. So if it doesn't go on easy, I'm not doing it right. So I'm going to dig around to see what size spacer that is, because I don't think 1.25 inches is the right size. When I'm looking down, it looks, I know it's hard to see, but it doesn't even look like the wheel is lined up with the frame. It doesn't. So yeah, that spacer, one way or another, that spacer is wrong. I mean, you can just see that spacer right there. So I am we're going to figure it out. So okay, thank you for watching. It is next video. Hopefully I'm going to have a resolution to that. I will have received the parts from Harbor Vintage, and I most likely will be putting on the rear tire. Well, I'll be putting on the rear tire and putting on and balancing the two tires. So stand by. We are making progress. Thank you.